Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to episode number 2 of our classic World of Warcraft adventures on the Burning Crusade expansion. I hope you're all doing fantastic wherever you are in the world, and I just want to say a massive thank you for everybody who liked and commented on my old video, on episode 1 I should say. It's good to be back making content again, and it's good to be back playing World of Warcraft. So let's jump in straight into episode number 2. And kicking off from episode number 1, where we went slightly mental at Falcon Wing Square and got a bit excited and just started basically collecting every quest that we needed to. But they were unstable mana crystals, where we need to bring back 6 unstable mana crystals to Eldian Sunbrand at Falcon Wing Square, and he'll give us 1 silver in return, which is quite nice. So the 6 mana crystals, I think they were just dotted around here. That's what we're collecting. Easy peasy, no problem, as the respawn on these was fairly easy. Now, the second quest that we picked up at Falcon Wing Square was Major Malfunction, where we need to collect 6 arcane cores from arcane patrollers that roam the ruins of Silvermoon City. And now we need to give those back to Magister Janos, or you know, if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, I do apologise. I'm struggling. So basically, he can put those crystals back to good use, and in return, he'll give us a nice soft leather vest as an upgrade, which is quite nice. As you can see, I did manage to kill one there, but there were very few of these roaming around because it was a very popular place to be, as obviously TBC had just launched, or pre-patch, sorry, I should say, just launched, and lots of people were around. So it was fun to have everyone here, but also slightly a pain in my arse. But never mind, we move on. And the third quest that we managed to pick up was Wanted, Thelius the Hungerer, where we need to kill Thelius and bring his head back to Sergeant Canren at Falcon Wing Square, where he will give us some money in return. So we're going to crack on and collect these complete these quests, I should say, and I'll catch up with you momentarily. So we did have to go over to the other side of Silvermoon City, or ruins, so I say, Silvermoon Ruins, as it was very popular, and I managed to find myself my final core. As you did see in the last clip, we did make it to level 6. So I'll just finish killing up this one, and we'll move on with our next adventure. Yoink! So we head back to Falcon Wing Square and hand in Major Malfunction after spending far too long killing the arcane patrollers for their cause. Magister Janos kindly gives us a new gear upgrade, as he gives us soft leather vest for 33 armor. Happy days. Magister Janos also then gives us another quest, Delivery to the North Sanctum, where he is very happy that we are somewhat competent, a little bit rude, and hands us the very tricky task of delivering a letter to the important Arcanist who is in charge of the upkeep of the North Sanctum. Whilst we're in Falcon Wing Square, we speak to Eldian Sunbrand and hand in the Unstable Mana Crystals quest for the money he promised us. He then gives us another quest called Darnassus Intrusions, where he would like us to travel to the West Sanctum, southwest of Falcon Wing Square, and defeat any intruders that are there. Once we have done that, we need to report our findings back to Laykeeper Velenir. I'm never going to pronounce these names properly. Laykeeper Velenir, wherever she may be hiding. So yeah, sorry. Before we head off and try and complete the quests for the people that I cannot pronounce, we of course turn to level 6, so we learn Arcane Shot and Hunter's Mark. So hopefully they'll help us in our questing, but unfortunately they're not going to help me pronounce these names correctly. After collecting a few quests for people who I can't pronounce, we head ourselves into Eversong Woods. Now this place is... I'm not going to say it. I know I'm an Alliance player, but this place is amazing, as we now discover North Sanctum. This place is like, I think it's my new favourite starting zone, so I do apologise to all of my Alliance friends out there, but I have to say that the Blood Elves, hands down, have the best starting area for me. So I'm just going around exploring this area and decided to pick on this dragon, which doesn't seem very fair, but I was excited, so I do apologise. Now, after discovering the Northern Sanctum, I managed to find Laykeeper Cade Anis, I'm butchering it, I know I am, I'm sorry, and hand in Delivery to the North Sanctum quest. Mr. C, I'm just going to call him, thanks us for the letter and gives us another quest called Malfunction at the West Sanctum. where Mr. C asked us a favour of us to seek out and speak to Laykeeper Velania, there you go, at West Sanctum in Eversong Woods. Whilst roaming Eversong Woods, I came across the Dead Scar and spoke to Ranger Jelia, where funnily enough she gave us the quest called the Dead Scar. Funny how that worked out. Ranger J wants us to help her men out by killing 8 Plagueborn pillagers and then return to her, where she will give us a new chest or leggings upgrade. So we happily accept that quest and move on exploring Eversong Woods. Now, not far from the Dead Scar was a nice little camp here where there was a skinning trainer, where I thought to myself, it's probably best to start learning gathering professions. So I thought it would be good to learn skinning, because there's lots of things around here that I need to skin, and it's quite convenient because at level 30 you can learn how to use a mount, or you can learn how to ride a mount, and I want to have the gold to be able to do that. So I thought gathering some or learning gathering professions is probably quite clever, so I can get the gold to do that. And obviously I want to be level 30 and riding around on a cool mount. Now obviously I tried to learn that flight path there, but I don't know any other flight paths in the area, but it's nice to know that there is one right next to the Silver Moon Forest. Whilst I was exploring Eversong Woods, I came across Fast Rider Retreat, where this is again another pretty cool area. But sadly, I roam around the area and discover that all the quests here are slightly a bit too high for us. So we'll have to come back here and collect these quests at a later point. So this is the beautiful thing I love about playing this game, and the fact that it's 20 years old, or even older than 20 years old, and it's still surprising me to this day. We discover Still Whisper Pond here, and it's just such a beautiful starting area. I know I keep going on about it, but seriously, the Night Elves have got such a great starting area, and I am loving this area. I'm just roaming around, skinning things that have been killed, that have been slain, exploring Eversong Woods, as for the first time, it was almost 20 years ago, and it's just amazing. I'm loving it. So I do apologise. I am often getting distracted, and you'll see the quests sort of start to take a little bit of a strange turn. So I do apologise for that as the episode goes on, as we decide to wander here into Silver Moon and Silver Moon City and discover the city and this place. I mean, you don't need me to tell you all about it. You guys playing the game all know all about it. But this place is epic as well. So this is just basically me roaming around Silver Moon City, roaming around Eversong Woods, and just exploring it all and just loving it, taking it all in as almost like a new player. And I don't consider myself to be a good World of Warcraft player. I've done some few raids and stuff like that, but I've never been the best at it. But you know, I'm getting distracted and trying to read the quest and figure out where I'm going, so I do apologise, but I thought I'd bring you along with my journey. Right, anyway, enough of all the exploring and the awe of Silver Moon City and Eversong Woods. Back to some questing, where we are here killing Plagueborn pillagers for Ranger Jalia, where I want to say I've pronounced that wrong again, but never mind. It seems to be a bit of a theme that I've adapted here. But yeah, we're here, obviously, a very, very busy area, as always, killing these pillagers and helping her men, Ranger Jelia's men out, where we need to kill all these Plagueborn pillagers for her. Now, sadly, we do take a death here. This rot limb cannibal just came out of nowhere and decided to hand my ass to me, basically. But luckily we're not playing hardcore, because that would have been the end of a very, very short Blood Elf journey. But yeah, you know, it's such a popular area. The respawns are high at the moment, so you know it's likely that you're going to bump into these rot limbs and get yourself killed. But never mind, we move on to completing the rest of this quest. So luckily we resurrect ourselves, eat up and drink up, and go straight back into killing these Plagueborn pillagers for Ranger J. After killing our 8th and final Plagueborn pillager, we decide to head to the West Sanctum and speak to Laykeeper Vanera and hand in Malfunction at the West Sanctum, where Laykeeper Canadus had sent us to find her to lend her a helping hand. After handing this quest in, we managed to get ourselves to level 7. After reaching level 7, Laykeeper Vanera wants us to help her out and gave us a quest called Arcane Instability, where she wants us to kill 5 mana wraiths and 5 mana stalkers. In return, she'll give us a choice of a shiny new sword or a walking stick. Sadly, we can use neither, so fairly pointless quest for us, but still look pretty cool. So, wasting no time at all, we start killing these mana wraiths and mana stalkers in the West Sanctum. Again, a very popular area as the Night Elves pre-patch, sort of TBC pre-patch, has just been launched, so it was mega busy here. But nevertheless, still enjoying myself going around killing all of these mana things that, you know, she wanted us to kill. So, happy to do that and cracking on with this quest. Whilst killing mana wraiths and mana stalkers, I got myself slightly distracted, shock horror, and I bumped into a blood elf, who, to keep me from ruining everyone's name, I shall call Sungaze. Blood elf Sungaze gave us a quest called Fish Heads. Now, Mr. Sungaze was very passionate about killing murlocs, and I very much share that passion with him, so we happily accepted the quest where he wants us to collect 8 Grimescale murloc heads. Happy days. Sadly, there was already loads of blood elves happily murdering murlocs and collecting their heads, so I decided to head back at a later time and carry on killing the mana wraiths and the mana stalkers. On our way back to kill these mana fiends, I killed myself a Darnassan scout and completed the quest Darnassan's Intrusions. The scout dropped us a letter which contained a quest called Incriminating Documents, where the silly night elf had left us some rather useful documents on it. I had them on him, and I was off to share them with Elderon Sunbrand back at Falconwing Square, as I did not speak night elf. Before handing over these incriminating documents, I spoke to Laykeeper Vanera and handed in the quest Darnassan Intrusions, where she wasn't pleased to learn about the presence of the night elves either. I then tidied up the rest of the Western Sanctum and killed the 5 mana stalkers and 5 mana wraiths that Laykeeper Vanera had tasked us to do. This, of course, completed the quest Arcane Instability, where I chose myself a shiny new Laykeeper's Blade. I'm not going to lie to you here, ladies and gents, boys and girls, I really considered going to learn the skill one-handed swords, but I decided just to keep the sword for now. Next on our adventures, we headed back to Falconwing Square and spoke to Elderon Sunbrand and handed him the incriminating documents we found on the Night Elf scout. He told us that the language in the letter was Dwarven and questioned if we had collected the letter from a Night Elf. I reassured him that it was in fact a Night Elf on which I found these documents, and he gave us the quest The Dwarven Spy, where he wanted me to kill Prospector Anvilward and bring his head to him as a message to the Alliance and the Dwarves of Ironforge not to mess with the Horde. In return for beheading Prospector Anvilward, Mr. Sunbrand would offer us a rather tasty reward in a 2-handed sword or a long 1-handed sword. And of course, after seeing how cool that 2-handed sword was, I took no time in going and speaking to the Weapon Master and learning how to use 2-handed swords. You can see how this is going to pan out. Now, after getting very distracted with this Western Sanctum and wanting to kill murlocs, I headed back into Silvermoon Ruins and discovered the Commons Hall area, where I noticed a lot of blood elves. As I discovered this new gaff, I was invited to a group, as there were so many people here. We all had one goal, to kill Thelius the Hungerer and complete the quest Wanted, Thelius the Hungerer. Do you all remember that quest? That one we got in episode 1 and are now only just completing? I told you I fell in love with this new starting zone and got very distracted. And sadly, I do not make any apologies for that. After finally killing Thelius the Hungerer, I headed back to Falconwing Square and spoke to Sergeant Canrin and gave him Thelius' head. Sergeant Canrin thanked us for killing him and hoped things would quiet down for now. As a reward, the Sergeant gave us some silver, copper and some well overdue XP. Now, with only one thing on my mind, I headed back to the Northern Sanctum in hunt for Prospector Anvilward, so I could behead the little dwarf and get an awesome new 2-handed sword from Mr. Sunbrand. This sword looks so cool, I had to get this quest done. Now, of course, it being pre-patch TBC, we found the corpse of Prospector Anvilward and started a group so that when he respawned, everyone could tag him and collect his head. Now, make that make sense, being beheaded more than once. I'll leave that with you. Either way, the little dwarf was dead and we were off to get our new shiny two-handed sword. Wasting absolutely no time at all, we headed back to Falconwing Square and spoke to Mr. Sunbrand and handed Prospector and Reward's head over to him for our new shiny two-handed sword. Beheading the little dwarf and handing over his head got us to level 8, which meant of course we were ready to learn some new hunter skills as well as play with our new shiny sword. As you can see right here, I'm very proud of myself for getting this sword as it looks freaking awesome. After admiring our new beautiful two-handed sword, we spoke to our hunter trainer and learnt Parry, a new passive skill, Concussive Shot, and upgraded our Raptor Strike skill to level 2, which will come in handy when training the skill Two-Handed Swords. Whilst running through Eversong Woods looking to play with our new two-handed sword, I bumped into Apprentice Rallen. Finally, a Blood Elf's name who I can pronounce. Anyway, he really wanted our help. Apprentice Rallen and his friend Apprentice Melidor had been ambushed by a bunch of wretched. Rallen wanted us to head down the road and speak to Melidor to see if he needed a hand getting their stolen goods back, so we happily accepted the quest Roadside Ambush. After training our two-handed skill and swinging our new two-handed sword around on some feral dragon horts and then training some of our skinning, we headed back to Tranquil Shore to behead some murlocs. See, I did tell you the order of these quests makes no sense. However, I'm having fun and just sharing with you my experience of the TBC pre-patch experience. Now, as you can see, no shock, no surprise, a heavily contested area with everyone playing the new TBC expansion. So this is just me completing all the quests, really, beheading all the murlocs and finally getting the last one. After spending far too much time beheading murlocs, which, if I'm honest with you, didn't really bother me, as I love killing them, we went and spoke to Mr. Sungaze, as I can't pronounce his first name, and handed in the quest Fish Heads, where Mr. Sungaze thanked us for a job well done and gave us some well-earned XP. Mr. Sungaze then told us about a murloc chieftain. Girl. A classic murloc name. Mr. Sungaze wanted us to go and kill this murloc chieftain, as I'm not pronouncing his name again, after he had killed his friend. Mr. Sungaze not only wanted us to kill this murloc boss, but get his friend's ring back. And if killing murlocs wasn't enough of a reward, he would offer us a brand new bow. After running up and down the coastline, searching all the beaches I could possibly find, I actually reread the quest, and shock horror, it told me exactly where to find this murloc dickhead. Along the way, I slayed more and more murlocs, which was thoroughly enjoyable, and I finally killed the murloc chieftain. I looted its body and retrieved the chieftain's ring and headed back to Mr. Sungaze to give it back to him. As we spoke to Mr. Sungaze about his friend's ring, he thanked us very much for our help and offered us a new Worn Ranger's bow, which would increase our damage dealt by 1.1 per second. So without any hesitation, we grabbed ourselves a new shiny bow and checked out how cool we would look with it. After becoming honoured with Silvermoon City, we headed back to Falconwing Square. We obtained ourselves a new bow, a new two-handed sword, and sold all the shit that we didn't need anymore. And that is when I logged off for the night. Logging on the very next day, I awoke in Falconwing Square and headed back into Eversong Woods and headed north, where I spoke to Apprentice Melidor and handed in the quest of Roadside Ambush. That quest that we had got from Apprentice Rallen, who had told us all about it the day before. Apprentice Melidor wanted us to search below the bridge for his instructor's book that he had lost after he was ambushed by the wretched. We of course accepted the quest, soaked pages and put our best swimming gear on and headed into the river. With, of course, absolutely no new swimming gear on at all. It took us no time at all to find this book, as there were loads of people around it collecting it. So we picked up the book and headed back to Apprentice Melidor and told him about his soaked pages quest. Speaking to Apprentice Melidor about his instructor's ruined book, someone decided to turn him into a rather large boar, which, I'm not going to lie to you ladies and gents, scared the shit out of me when I saw it happen. Anyway, he told me that his instructor was going to fly off his rocker when he would find out about his ruined book. Now, not my problem if I'm honest with you. Apprentice Melidor wanted me to then take the ruined book to his instructor and not tell him how it got ruined, ironically giving us the quest Taking the Fall. We accepted the quest and headed off to tell Melodor's instructor all about his incompetence and that we should not get the blame for his ruined book. Heading further south is where we discover Fairbreeze Village, and this is where we go on a quest collecting spree. The first quest we collect is in Fairbreeze Village is off of a blood elf called Velian Brightoak, and he moans to us about the overpopulation of Springpaws. So we accept the quest Pelt Collection, and he wants us to kill Springpaws and collect 6 of their pelts and return the pelts to him. A true World of Warcraft classic quest. The second and third quests we are going to collect in Fairbreeze Village are from Magistrix Landra Dawnstrider. Lovely. Glad to know I'm in a new area with more new names I cannot pronounce properly. Anyway, the quest she gives us are Salthrill's Haven, where she is very upset that she's been asked to get some more party supplies for Lord Salthrill. She rants to us that she's not a party planner and that she's going to fireball someone if they ask her for more party supplies. I feel very sorry for the next blood elf that's coming up to speak to her. As well, you know, it's going to happen. She asks us to go and speak to Lord Salthrill at his haven and shut him up about his party. The other quest she gives us is the Wayward Apprentice, which, if I'm honest with you, is more important than some Lord's party. For this quest, she wants us to head east and speak to Apprentice Muvida and check up on her well-being. The fourth quest we collect in this area is from Innkeeper Amberlight, and she gives us the quest Ranger Sarin. She explains that the village isn't as safe as it looks, and that Ranger Sarin helps keep the village safe, and we should go and speak to him and offer our services to him. And the fifth and final quest we accept on this little spree is from Ardorin Riverwind, aka Mr. Riverwind. That quest is called The Second Grove, and basically he wants us to go and find his sister in the Scorched Grove southwest of Eversong Woods. After collecting a fair few new quests, we locate Ranger Deglian and hand in the quest Fairbreeze Village. After completing this quest, that's right, you guessed it, we get another quest called Situation of Sunsail Anchorage, where the ranger explains that the village has been overrun by wretched scum, and he wants us to go and kill 5 wretched thugs and 5 wretched hooligans, and then report back to him once we've killed them all. So, with my brain completely overloaded with information and my quest log completely full for now, we then head off to kill some Springpaws and collect their pelts. That is when we reach ourselves level 9. Now, with all these quests collected, I do apologise, ladies and gents, boys and girls. I do go and download Questy. I just feel it's really going to help me go along in this journey. Now, I know I said I would try and go as far as I can without any add-ons, and I won't have any more add-ons other than Questy. And to be honest with you, it's good fun, it helps me out, and I sort of need it as I don't have all the time in the world to record these videos and go through everything. So I do apologise, but we do now have Questy, and at least for the next 2 or 3 episodes it's going to have Questy. So if you're happy with that, let me know, and if you don't want to see it anymore, let me know. I'm happy to get rid of it, but the content might be a bit slower to come out. But yeah, apologies, we now have Questy. Moving on swiftly, we locate Ranger Jalar and hand in the quest The Dead Scar. She then explains to us that she doesn't really think that the Scourge will be letting up anytime soon, but thanks us for our help. Gives us a new black leather vest which increases our armour by a massive 4. We then head towards Steel Whisper Pond and speak to Apprentice Melodor and Apprentice Rulland's instructor, Anthiel. We apologise for interrupting his lecture and hand over his ruined book and complete the quest Taking the Fall. We then explain that his apprentices try to bribe us to keep the ruined book quiet and tell him we found it like this. He laughs and calls his apprentices incompetent fools and dimwits, which I couldn't agree more with. Anthiel then gives us the quest Swift Discipline, where he gives us his discipline rod to use on his apprentices. Sadly, when we find Apprentice Rallin, someone has already used the discipline rod on him and turned him into a boar, which is what scared the shit out of me the other day. However, we then use the rod on him and continue our discipline quest. Heading down the road, we bump into Apprentice Melodor, and you guessed it, we turn him into a massive boar by using the discipline rod on him. That is that quest, tied it up quite nicely. Now, I did have every intention of getting to level 10 in this episode, but I can already see that this is going to be a rather long video, and I don't want to make it any longer than it needs to be. So stay tuned for next episode, where we may or may not reach level 10, or you shall see, and you may or may not see what pet we get. But these videos generally take me hours to make, so if you could leave a like, comment and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. I love making these videos and always will do, so please comment down below what you want to see more of, and hopefully we'll see you in the next episode. Take care and goodbye.